It was 2 a.m. when my phone lit up on the nightstand. I wasn't asleep, not really. I'd been staring at the ceiling for over an hour, trying not to look at the empty half of the bed. When the screen flashed her name, Emily, I felt something between relief and dread tighten in my chest. Her message read, "I lost track of time." That was it. No sorry. No be home soon. Just 6 words. Cold. Detached. She was supposed to be at her coworker's birthday dinner. Something that had apparently just popped up last minute. I stared at the text, every word echoing in the dark like a whisper that didn't belong. My thumbs hovered over the keyboard. Then I typed, slowly, "With who?" She didn't respond. 1 minute passed. Then 2. I watched the typing dots appear, vanish, then reappear. My pulse quickened. Finally, her reply came, "Don't start this now. I told you it's just work friends." I didn't answer that. Instead, I sent another message. "Funny, because I just saw your coworker Mark post a story. You're not in it." The dots didn't appear this time. Nothing. Just a void of silence where truth should have lived. I got out of bed, walked to the kitchen, poured a glass of water I didn't drink. The clock ticked toward 2:07. The air felt heavier, like the house itself was waiting for something to happen. Then, at 2:10, headlights swept across the curtains. Tires screeched to a stop outside. The front door burst open. Emily stumbled in, breathless, hair messy, eyes wide with panic. "Why are you awake?" she snapped, voice too sharp for someone supposedly caught in traffic. "Why are you home in a panic?" I asked quietly. She looked around the room like she expected someone else to be there. Her purse was half unzipped, and from it, a man's cologne drifted across the space between us. Not mine, not hers. She caught me noticing. "It's just perfume from the restaurant," she said too quickly, pulling off her jacket. "Restaurant," I repeated. "You told me it was a coworker's house." Her lips parted. The silence after that single second said more than any excuse could. She walked past me, heading for the bedroom. I didn't follow. I just stood there, staring at the empty glass in my hand. By the time she returned, she'd changed into her nightshirt, hair tied back neatly, the picture of calm. But her hands were trembling. "I didn't do anything wrong," she muttered, sitting on the edge of the couch. "You're paranoid." I didn't argue. Not yet. I just stared at her phone, which she'd carelessly left on the armrest. The screen lit up again. A notification from Zach Work, followed by a preview. "Can't believe you left like that. He knows." Her eyes darted toward me the moment I looked at it. "Don't," she said, snatching the phone away. "It's not what you think." But the tremor in her voice, the flush on her cheeks, they told me otherwise. I stood up. "Emily," I said slowly, "you texted me at 2 a.m. saying you lost track of time. Then 10 minutes later you come home like you've seen a ghost. You want to tell me why?" Her voice cracked. "Because someone followed me," she said, "on my way back." It almost sounded believable. Almost. But when I stepped closer, I noticed her shoes. Spotless. Not a hint of dirt or panic. "What street?" I asked. "Where?" She hesitated, eyes darting to the floor, lips parting without sound. That hesitation, that half-second pause, told me everything. She looked at me, her face pale under the dim kitchen light. I don't remember the street," she said weakly. "It happened fast." I nodded slowly, my mind piecing together the inconsistencies. Emily had always been sharp with details, the kind of woman who remembered which aisle we'd bought our first coffee maker from. But now she couldn't recall a street. "Maybe," I said softly, "you can show me where it happened tomorrow." Her eyes flickered, a small panic darting through them before she masked it behind a tired smile. "Can we not do this now? I'm exhausted." I didn't press further. Not yet. I just watched her retreat toward the bedroom again. The faint buzz of her phone followed her down the hall. 1, then 2 more messages, all from Zach. I stayed awake long after she fell asleep, scrolling through my own thoughts. There was a time I would have believed her without hesitation. But tonight felt different. Tonight had layers. By morning, She was already dressed for work, hair tied neatly, perfume stronger than usual. "I might be late tonight," she said, avoiding my eyes. "We've got a team project running over deadline." I smiled faintly. "Of course. You'll lose track of time again." The words hit harder than I intended. She froze for half a second, then forced a laugh. "Don't start, James." But I already had. That afternoon, while she was at work, I drove to the cafe near her office. Her car wasn't there. Neither was she. I waited 30 minutes, then an hour. Just as I was about to leave, I saw her, across the street, stepping out of a hotel lobby with Zach. They weren't touching, but their closeness said more than contact could. She laughed, head tilted back, that easy, familiar laugh that used to be mine. I didn't confront her. Not yet. I wanted her truth, not her reaction. So I drove home and I planned. That night, when she returned, I acted as if nothing had happened. I even made dinner, her favorite lasagna with too much cheese. She looked surprised, almost guilty, but relieved. "Trying to make peace?" she asked. "Something like that," I said, smiling. After dinner, I asked her to sit with me. "I've been thinking about us," I began. "About trust." Her shoulders stiffened. "James, I told you." "I know," I interrupted gently. "You said it's just work. That's why I thought maybe you'd like to see what work looks like from my perspective." I took out my phone and played a short video, one I'd recorded earlier that day. Emily stepping out of the hotel. Zach beside her. The timestamp clear at the bottom. Her hand flew to her mouth. "You followed me?" I didn't answer. I just looked at her. Really looked. The silence stretched between us, dense and suffocating. "James," she whispered finally, tears welling. "It's not what it looks like. Please, let me explain." I let out a bitter laugh. "You've been explaining for months, Emily. Different words, same lies." She started to cry. Not soft tears, but full, shaking sobs that made her shoulders tremble. For a brief moment, I almost pitied her. But then I remembered the countless nights I sat awake, waiting for her messages that never came. "Why?" I asked quietly. "Was I not enough? Was our life too boring?" She looked at me then, and the guilt on her face turned to something like defiance. "You stopped seeing me, James. You buried yourself in work, in routine. I just wanted to feel alive again." I nodded. "And he made you feel that way?" Her silence was my answer. I stood up, walked to the counter, and placed my wedding ring there. "You know what's strange?" I said, my voice steady. "When you texted at 2 a.m. that night, I thought you were in trouble. I didn't realize I was the one who'd been lost for years." She looked at me through red, tear-streaked eyes. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying I'm done keeping track of time for someone who stopped showing up long ago." She reached out, but I stepped back. Her sobs followed me to the door, soft at first, then breaking into the kind of crying that fills empty rooms with echoes of regret. When I walked out into the night, the air was cold but clean. For the first time in months, maybe years, I wasn't waiting for a message that would never make sense. And when my phone buzzed again, a single text from her, "Please, come home." I didn't reply, because some messages don't deserve answers.